Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Open Office Hours. I am Crystal Hinkle. I am part of the team here at Syncro. I will let the ladies introduce themselves.
Hey everybody, I'm Tatiana. Welcome to our open office hours. We are so excited to see you guys here today.
Hi everyone, I'm Brandy, also part of the team here. Really excited to see you guys.
Yes, and we have an awesome Friday for you today. I'm seeing the questions already rolling in, which is amazing. So for those of you that know the routine, use the Q&A. That's the best way for us to track and keep organized on who answers what. And for those of you that are joining us for the first time, welcome. This is Open Office Hours, and it's kind of a free-for-all for questions. We're going to show you some cool stuff. It does not matter. Like, if you feel like your question is like, hey, this is like going back to the old, there are no stupid questions. Like, ask questions, ask whatever you want. It doesn't matter where you are in your journey, whether you've never even looked at Syncro or if you've been paying us for years. It does not matter. Ask whatever questions you've got for us today, and we will do our best to get you answers. These are also recorded, and all of our previous ones are also posted on our YouTube channel. We usually get the recordings up same day, possibly Monday. But like I mentioned, we started doing this a few weeks back where we kind of start off open office hours, showing you some new things. And so without further ado, I will just pass it on to Tatiana and let her take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Crystal. Yes, I am so excited to share something we've been working on for you guys. Probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Can you guys see me sharing this page here?
Yep.
Before I show you guys, I wanted to kind of intro this and kind of give you a little bit of a background on kind of what we are looking to show you guys today. So really, about 2 weeks ago, someone asked us during open office hours if we had any marketing materials or resources that we could share with you guys on how to sell your services to your customers. We've heard about this on demos previously, seen requests in the Facebook group as well. So honestly, this has been a really popular request. And as you guys know, as a modern MSP platform, we are here to help you make more money. We're here to take your feedback, continue to improve, and provide a highly requested resource like this. It's been super fun for us to put this together. So I get the pleasure of sharing version 1 today. You guys heard it here first. We're not sharing this anywhere else. Since you're attending live, you guys get the first sneak peek. So I'll show it here. I'll drop a link into the chat box after. You guys can put your comments and feedback into the Q&A section. We'll collect it in an organized way just like that, pass it back along to our team. So again, a lot of businesses that you guys pitch your services to, whether they're a large business with hundreds of employees or small businesses, or even those of you guys that are providing your services to residential customers, you all get asked the same question: why should I hire you? What services do you provide for me? So what we did is we designed this doc to be kind of an easy conversation starter for your new potential clients. So basically, again, it's an easy doc of what you as an MSP can do for them, your potential new customers. So let's go ahead and I will share my screen and kind of just show you guys as I am going along here. So again, it highlights things, for example, why they need your services, what headaches you can save for them, how much money they can save by hiring you, what value you provide. So obviously this is going to range from each Syncro MSP user depending on who your clients are and what you consider to be your ideal client. So we're going to share 2 different versions today. This first one is just a very simple, easy to use Google Doc. You can put your own logo in here. First things first, before you make any changes, just go ahead and go over to File and make a copy so that you can have your own version. This one, I believe, is not editable. So again, you make this your own. You can put your own business name into here. And honestly, straight from the top, again, it's super straightforward. This is very easy to use. Everything that your customer or your potential customer needs to know about what you can do. So you can say, hey, we are here to make sure your business is running as smoothly as possible. You don't have to worry about your IT needs. Here's everything we can do for you. We'll keep your computers protected. We'll make sure your employees are running at full efficiency and not kind of lagging behind due to tech issues. We can help you log in more affordable pricing so that you can pay us based on what your business needs are, not just a one kind of in the box pricing structure. Again, if you need to add a pricing chart in here, anything else like that, you guys can edit this. You can add tell your potential customers, hey, we can help you onboard your new employees so that you don't have to take, 2 to 3 days at the beginning of their job to help them figure out, what's their login and passwords. We just set it up for you. They can hit the ground running on the day one. So again, I think you guys get the point here. It really is super customizable by you, again, depending on what field you're in, what vertical you're in. This second resource that I'll show you guys is super exciting as well. If you guys have never used Canva before, it is super easy to use. I went and I already logged in, but basically you can log in using your using your Gmail address. You can use a free version, and they also do have a paid version as well. So what I'm showing you guys here, this second version is if you really want to kind of finesse what this looks like. So from our perspective, again, all of these sections are customizable built here. You can type in your business name into this section. You can change the color. You can change the font. Again, it's the same information that's contained into here, but you can put your own kind of your company highlights in here. The different other versions of what you want to upload. Of course, you can want to put your own logo in there. So again, this is not going to be necessarily a Canva tutorial today, since this is just as a resource for you guys. And again, the free version is great. Again, you can put your own logo in here, upload your own photos, backgrounds, whatever you want to use, change the text. The benefits here too is you have the capability, if you share a link with your customers, it's just a really beautiful, clean, polished look for you guys. Again, customized based on what your preferences are here. You also have the capability to print flyers if that's what you prefer. If you select download, you can choose what kind of file you want to use to download. So again, this was a super exciting, huge effort on our team's side. I want to give a special shout out to Max. He put a ton of effort into this. Thank you so much. It looks beautiful, and we're just so excited that you guys ask us for things like this, fun things for us to build. Again, we want to see you succeed with Syncro. We want to see you make more money with Syncro, and providing resources like this for you guys is awesome and exciting for us. So I think that's it. I think I covered everything. Crystal, let me know if I missed anything. And again, please pop your feedback into the Q&A section and we'll pass it along to Max. I think we do want to continue kind of building more things like this, and most likely we'll be using Canva in the future. So if you guys like it, test it out. You can email myself or Brandy as your account reps. Tell us what you guys think. If you have a more detailed type of response, please do let us know. Again, we appreciate you guys sending these types of fun requests our way.
Yeah, and well done, Tatiana, explaining all of that and showing how to use it. Also, yeah, and I just want to second the point about we are absolutely taking feedback on this too. And I mean, if there's something different, like this definitely like is great for you, like first time sitting in front of a customer you've never seen. Maybe there's other type of materials that you're wanting or needing. What is so nice about either option that you choose, whether it's the Google Doc or the Canva option, they are very customizable. So if you're looking at it and you're like, yeah, I do that, but I also then do this as well. It gives you just that flexibility to add. It's what I was thinking about with this type of a thing is that a lot of times you're so busy doing what you do best and you know what value you have to provide for customers, but this just offers you a template. It just gets you off on the right foot to be able to just customize it to really be able to sell your services and your value. So this is absolutely phenomenal. And then the other thing, I just like to say this too. I just want everyone to know that Brandy and Tatiana like asked almost every day for this for like the last several months actually to make sure that this happened. And that's all for you. It's all for the people that are asking for things like this. So I just want you to know that, we definitely are your sales reps, but we're kind of advocating for what you're asking for, especially if it's going to help you and your business. So keep with those requests and know that you have people that are absolutely got your back and trying to make this stuff happen. So thank you for sharing all of that, Tatiana.
Yeah, the three of us were actually going to create something for you guys because people were asking. So huge shout out to Max from our marketing team for doing that. And Tatiana, a couple people said that they popped in late and wanted to know where they can find those materials.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
perfect. Yeah, I'm just dropping those into the chat box again for the doc version. Make sure you create your own copy and then you edit it how you need it to. I don't think you can edit that one, and then I'll pop in the Canva one as well.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we had a lot of questions in Q&A, so I'm gonna start with the top one, and we'll just kind of get rolling. So Tony wants to know, I'm trying to set up automation. All my backup failure reports come from reports at backup vendor. Is there any way to create tickets from them based on subject line? It seems like there is, but I can't get it to work. They all create a new customer named backup vendor. So I would have to know a little bit more about like what is in the body of the email and how it's being forwarded in. Because I know like if it was coming to you and you forward it in, if the customer's information is there, it'll create it for the customer. But I think what's worth showing, and I'm just gonna hop in here and share my screen. Let me get rid of this here really quickly. I wanted to just show, I think this would be email rules. This is one way to do it. It just, I guess it kind of depends, but if you head to email rules, I believe that if you had it come in from like a specific domain, I think that what you're asking though is that it's not necessarily based upon the domain because you want it to create for the actual customer, right? That's what I'm getting. So from here, I'm wondering maybe if you just left the email address blank and had like the subject filter do something, then I think there's also ways like based upon, I think, again, what I'm saying is that I would need more information as to what is in the body of the email because that's how it's being forwarded in. So if it's going straight to that inbox from that vendor directly, geez, ladies, I don't know. I think that if you could edit the subject line to include, right? Is that what it is?
He said he forwards to an email rule straight from the vendor. The subject has the asset name, so I want to create for the customer specifically.
So if you're forwarding it in, if you forwarded it in and CC'd the customer's email address, that would do it. That would do it. That's kind of a roundabout. Maybe it might be something that even asking like our technical support team, they might have a better idea of the best way to do it. But I do know that if you CC with a customer name, it would attach to the proper customer. I'm just going to grab another really short one here while I am not muted. I'm going to go to invoices. The question, is there a way to change the invoice date? So if you just go into any invoice here, you'll see obviously it looks like you can't necessarily edit this here, but if you head here to edit it, you can edit the date here. So yes, you can absolutely edit the invoice date. And then let's see. Is there a report for when computers are turned on or better yet, logged in or out? Clients want to know if users are working while locked down. I believe you could set up like an event log trigger for when people log in. So you could use policies to set an event log trigger, but you can also like, because we don't really necessarily have an uptime alert. I mean, you can easily see if a machine is online, and then using the quick view modal, you can see like what's happening on the machine right now, but it's not necessarily a report. But I like the request. I think that you could monitor logins though through the event log. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Brandy. I'll answer the other couple here in a.
Okay, yeah, we'll take a couple at a time because there were a ton in here. So one question is an easy way to transition from ConnectWise to Syncro. So let me just share my screen real quickly with you. And let me just show you a couple things. So from any platform, really, if you head over into our App Center, we do have quite a few importer tools down below. Specifically for ConnectWise, Ninja, Terra, you're going to notice importer tools in here, and you can come in and you can import your customers, contacts, and ticket history. If you are migrating from an existing RMM and you want to put Syncro on all of those devices as well, we do have an agent installer tool that will help you, and we can drop that into the chat box. You can also use this agent installer here to mass install. I will say one that is not in here right now, but it is complete, is going to be the Solarwinds Importer tool. So if any of you guys are using Solarwinds currently, you want to put the Syncro device on all of those instances really easily, shoot one of us an email, your account representative, and we will get you that importer tool as well. It's not quite in the App Center, but we've had quite a few people testing that and it's working. So you can absolutely do that, but I would highly suggest using the importer tools that are provided in the App Center for you. And then while we're here too, someone was asking if there's a way to initiate a chat from a ticket and keep it inside of that ticket. So currently, no. You can initiate a chat from the ticket. If you come here, you pull up that asset and you can initiate a chat. I think I already have a chat going with this particular device. You can create a ticket from here, but it's not going to attach to that existing ticket at this time. I think that's a very valid request, and I truly don't know what is on the roadmap for chat, but this has been here like 6 weeks, you guys, and we've added so many new features. Our devs are really aggressive with our chat, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that's added, but we'll definitely pass that along. And then let me see if there's just any more in here. Okay, Derek, sometimes it seems he loves chat, which awesome, we're glad. But sometimes it seems that chat takes a while to pop up on the client side. Any thoughts on this, or should I help desk? Definitely reach out to support. That's not normal behavior, so we would want you to go ahead and reach out to support. And then Cody, so just going to start asking if that's okay. Absolutely. Is there a way to delete an asset, a computer specifically, if it has been offline for a certain period of time? So really good question here. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. And if you go over into assets in RMM, I think these get missed pretty often, but out to the left, you can have a saved asset search. So I think we have one in here for hasn't checked in for a certain number of days. And what you can do, actually I don't want to go in there. I want to just go edit it. But I'm going to show you some different features that you have from within here. So you can say, okay, it hasn't checked in for a certain number of days. You can add different criteria here. And based on the different criteria, you are able to do some things in mass. So you can specify what type of device it is as well. If you'd like to, you can further define using property conditions too. And then what would happen is I could say, okay, here's all of these particular devices. You can select them in mass, and then you can go up to manage and you can delete, run a script, broadcast message, whatever you want to do. But that would probably be the easiest way to do so. And I'll take one more before I lose my breath here, but any specific updates on roles for tech, specifically to limit which customers they can see? Really awesome. If you guys don't know, we do have single customer permission groups, and you guys, my mouse just died, so I need to plug that in. That's not good. But we do have single customer permission groups, so you can give a technician access to one customer rather than multiple customers. Love that request. We've passed that along, and I will add your vote to that. One way that people will use single customer permissions is if you guys have an internal IT department that you're managing. Sometimes they have an IT person that you would want to give access to their own devices and doing scripts and things like that. You would be able to see all of their information, but they couldn't see yours, and you can still restrict what they have access to. So currently it's all or one, but I will absolutely pass that along. And I'm going to take a break for a minute.
Awesome. Okay. I'm going to grab this one from Keith. When a customer replies to a closed ticket, the system creates a new ticket and links the old one. But we then get an email for every comment on that ticket, which sometimes can be 20 to 30 emails. How can we stop this? Okay, so my initial thought is that maybe your notification settings might need to be tweaked a little bit. So if you head to your admin section and you go to Notification Center, and whatever notification settings you're in, I believe there is a setting where if you don't want to get like it's pretty much anytime. Where is the actual just the comment? A hidden comment was added. Is it right in here? Am I just missing it? Someone replied to your ticket. A ticket has been assigned to me. So it depends on where the comment's coming from. I guess if they're replying to the ticket and adding a comment, then you probably just have this marked as a notification. So you're getting an email every time they send a response to the ticket. I'm guessing that's probably what it is. Maybe you could check your settings and verify that one for me. Cody wants to know, we are using QuickBooks Online with Syncro. Occasionally we have an invoice issue with the customer and need to void or delete the invoice. What is the best way to do this to keep it consistent with QuickBooks Online? Okay, so it depends. If the invoice has not been paid or marked paid or any sort of payment has been taken, you actually can just go in and delete the invoice in Syncro, no problem. I believe that by deleting the invoice in Syncro, I can't remember if that syncs and deletes it in QuickBooks Online, so you'd have to check. I know for sure if you delete it in QuickBooks Online, that's not going to sync it back to Syncro. So depending, I for sure would make sure that you check Syncro after you delete it, if you delete it on the QuickBooks Online side. I'm about 50% sure if it deletes the other way. Do you guys know? I don't actually know if the deleted invoice syncs. So either way, I would probably check it on both sides. If a payment or a partial payment has been taken, you actually have to delete that payment to be able to delete an invoice, just kind of taking that second step there. Let's see. Paul says, I know that there is no current way to bulk edit tickets, so they move from one company to another, but can a block of tickets be moved through ticket automation? So I was just gonna do like live demo of ticket automations right here, because I'm not sure if an action, I don't think an action is to assign to a new customer, but I don't know that for sure, so we're just gonna look. So you can assign it to a new technician, but you cannot reassign it to a different customer. So, I mean, just in general, ticket automations, yes, if there was all tickets with this status or something, you wanted to change it to a different status or send an email, yes, you can do all of that, but you wouldn't be able to bulk change the actual customer that's associated with that ticket. Let's see, is there anything, I'll grab this really quick because I think this is a little bit more of a feature request. I'll just read it out loud. Like to see improvements to ticket and invoice bill to or serviced for. Many situations need clients bill to be paid by someone else. This is very helpful for multiple location clients being paid by different offices or warranty be paid by a different supplier. This is interesting. I'm assuming, Tatiana, this might be, I think you brought this up in Slack maybe last week. So I know like on an invoice, I can't remember exactly because I think you got a little bit of clarification that there is an option. Is there an option to bill to someone different on an invoice? Because I know that, I don't know if my computers are taking slow. Do you remember this, Tatiana, that it's like if you want to change who it's actually being billed to? I think tech support helped on this.
Yes.
Do you want to take over?
It's basically if you need to bill a separate customer that's already within your Syncro system, you just click change customer right up there, and it says attach transaction to a different customer. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think I think in this case they're asking it still needs to stick with this customer, like it has to show a customer but bill it to a different customer. So I get what you're saying there. Yeah, I can see where some improvements could be made there. Valid point. Cool. I'll hand it off now.
You want me to grab the ones at the top or?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, happy System Administration Day. Woo! Thank you. I actually clicked on that and read it. It was cute. And then in an estimate, there is a tech notes label. How does this get populated? I could not find this in help. So great question. Sometimes it just takes clicking around for myself too, because that's what I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over into the estimates. If I go to create a new estimate here, just going to type in a customer's name, and you will see here the tech notes. It's not populated. If you go to edit, this is going to be if there is not a ticket, but this is where you'll add your tech notes. So it doesn't pull in from anything. You're actually adding those, but you do have to actually go into edit the estimate. So it's kind of an after step that you would do, and you can absolutely add any tech notes in there. Really good question though. And then I'll go ahead and take one from Cody too. We are leasing and renting devices as a revenue stream. Is there a way to track rented inventory via Syncro? So that's awesome. Love that. The great thing about Syncro is you can have manual assets as well. So one, you could add those in your products and services if you would like to. You're also able to add those in assets. So I can come in here, I can create a new asset. You will be able to change different asset types. So you could add phones, you can put whatever you want in here and add those. And then you can still view them under a particular customer. So if I go to a customer, you're able to come in and you can see all of their assets. I don't know if we have any manual assets in here now. We don't, but if you do want to add a manual asset, this is where you can add it. You'd at least be able to store information here. You can still create tickets against manual assets that are added into the system as well. And your customers are still able to see those particular assets on their customer portal if you give them access. It doesn't necessarily have to be a managed device for them to be able to see it. And then another thing too with that is on your invoices, this part's super nice because you can absolutely bill them per month based on that, on how many assets they have. So you can come down and you can go to the assets in our RMM counter and you can use a different asset type. So maybe it was a phone or whatever it was. Then you can have a specific price or product for that and charge them dynamically based on how many they have. And so maybe it's a lease per month, but that's how I would handle it. If you guys have anything else to add to that, I think that's how I would handle it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brandy. Richard, we have a question here for you. I'm waiting on support to get back to us, so we see it and we will let you know as soon as we get a response from support. Question here from Neil, next one just on the list is, he says, any plans to improve Synchrolife to allow for one-time support, unmanaged, and auto uninstall? At this time, I haven't heard of anything super concrete for that. There is a really easy way to be able to send your customer the custom installer via a ticket. So if you haven't seen that yet, I'll show you guys just real quick. This is available again on any ticket. I'm going to go ahead and open a brand new one. And over in the communication section, you have the ability to choose to email and which policy you want to email a custom installer link to the customer. They just would click that link, download the Syncro agent, and be able to, then you would be able to remote in since the agent is going to be on there. But this is the section I'm referring to right here is communications, email RMM installer link. That's probably the easiest way to do it. And then to really quickly uninstall, you just go over to the assets and RMM section, select the device and just delete from Syncro. That will trigger an uninstall. So hopefully that helps point you in the right direction until something like that is released, if it is on the roadmap. Next question here is from Darren. He says, is there a way to customize the alerts to receive for software or software updates being installed on an asset so that alerts from Chrome, Firefox, and other software that updates frequently so they won't clog up the support email with these notifications, but keep alerts for other software that should be monitored to be notified to us? So really quick, there's a couple different ways to do this. The first one I would recommend is just within the automated remediation. You have the capability to select certain triggers, and you can then say, for example, what you want to be in the subject type and automatically close the ticket as well. So that's one way to do it, is if there's a way for you to filter in that hey, this software is installed into the conditions here. You can then say, I want to clear the alert, convert this into a ticket with the predefined subject status, and maybe just select it to be resolved in here. And then that way it's not really cluttering up your ticket queue since it's going to be resolved. You also have the capability of seeing people do it this way. Again, I don't know if this is going to work for your particular situation, but if you go over to your mailboxes, and I've seen people set up like alerts at yourcompany.com. Again, this won't attach alerts on a customer per customer basis, but it will filter them into this one mailbox, and you can take a closer look that way. Because right now, you're right, notifications, you cannot adjust the subject of that at this time. Let's see, and then I believe the last question in here that I'll address, I think I have a couple more here. Russ says, I asked this on Tuesday, but had to leave. Not sure if you had answered. When syncing calendars with Office 365, can you pick a calendar to sync, or does it only go to the main 365 user calendar? And the response that we got from our support is you should be prompted to select among calendars in Office 365. Yes. So if you see something different, please do reach out to help@synchromsp.com. And I'll just take this last one up here. From Jason, he says, does the mass installer know what client the machine belongs to? And I wanted to, I know for sure with our Ninja importer specifically, yes, the customer does need to exist in Syncro with a business name that matches the RMM organization name. So for sure for that one, but Crystal, do you know if the customer needs to exist first before you use the mass import?
Yes.
Sounds like it does. So there you go. That's it for me for now.
Awesome. Is it my turn now? Yeah. Vlad, hello everyone. Hello. Network discovery and remote agent install on the roadmap. Absolutely, it is. Actually coming pretty soon. We're working on it. So things are looking good there. I'm going to grab a couple more recently. I had to remove the customer. Customer got archived, but not deleted as it had agent installed. Basically asking, is there a way to quickly delete customers even if there's assets installed, like it would do it all at one time? The answer would be no. You can, of course, like we mentioned, you can archive customers, which we've recently added, which has been really nice. So they don't show up in your customers list. You can unarchive. You can actually just look through your archived customers and re-enable those. But I think that it was built that way by design. If they do have assets still installed, you can just quickly, like, you could do a search for all those customers' machines and just mass delete them. It's very quick to do that. Let's see here. Is there any other ones I should just grab really quickly? Where do I set an auto response for chat if a tech is online but doesn't respond to a chat in a specific time? So let me share my screen here. And while I do this, there was a question that also from Ari. Any updates on chat or phone support? It would be great to have an integrated chat support system for quick support questions to Syncro Help Desk. So we have chat. I don't know if you haven't seen it yet. So what I'm showing you.
No, he's referring to Syncro support.
Oh, like our team. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, right now we're actually building out the team quite rapidly right now, the technical support team. We're still very much email based. I'm not saying that won't change, but I haven't heard of any super near future plans to do that. I was just going to show you. So this is where your system tray icon is, and this is where you can enable chat. And then this is where you add your unavailable message. So by default, it's like, I think if no one answers within 3 minutes, this will pop up. Is that right?
Crystal, I don't think we can see, unless it's frozen on my screen, I'm only able to see editing an invoice.
Oh, let me try again. Okay, let's look at this one.
There's a chance it was just on my screen because.
I don't know.
Okay, there you go. Yep.
Too many screens. Okay, so this is where it is. So you're in a policy system tray icon. You're updating that. You add live chat. Here's your unavailable message. and what I was thinking, and I'm fairly certain I read this, it's a 3-minute default, right? Like if someone doesn't respond in 3 minutes, this is where you can define what that message is. So right here. Okay, cool. I think I'm done for now.
Awesome. I have two questions up here that are still waiting on a quick response from support. So I'm going to share something super cute that just popped into the Q&A. I'm so excited, you guys. I love this. So Tony shared with us, he said, customize the Canva marketing material a little bit. Look how cute, you guys.
In
Look
like 2 minutes.
Yes.
Tony's always good at that. His website's great. I've always looked at it.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. Max is going to be so happy.
There you go. Look at that. All the custom colors, custom branding. I love it. That is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Tony. That's a huge pleasure for us
I love that.
to see. Awesome. Okay, so back to the other fun stuff. So hopping back into the Q&A. Next question is from Jason. He says, in Automate, I can define a master computer. This combined with the domain admin credentials allows me to push the RMM to every PC in the domain. Can I do something similar within Syncro? So at this time, the only way to kind of mass deploy from other than just importing, you have the capability to deploy via MSI. I understand that's most likely different than what you're asking here, but if you did want to do it that way, if you go over to the RMM agent installer, you could deploy via MSI here. We don't have network discovery or SNMP monitoring at this time, but as Crystal mentioned, we are working very actively towards that. So we'll be super excited to announce that once it is here. It's very highly requested. Let's see, and then I'll answer another one here. Jordan says, is there a way to run a report to see prepaid hours used on a per client basis in some specific time frame in the last week or something like that? So I looked around and I couldn't find a specific report like this. I'll show you what I did find. And ladies, if you have any suggestions, I would appreciate that as well. So first things first, in the reports, we do have a prepaid hours balance report. This one just shows kind of a running list of what the customer currently has available. There isn't a way to customize it at this time to kind of see within the last week how many they've used, things like that. Another report that I do show very often, most likely on probably every single demo, is the customer detail report. This does show how much time you're spending resolving your customers' tickets in the last custom time frame that you specify here. So although it won't say applied this prepaid hour to this ticket, it will show you if you're constantly kind of re-upping the balance of your customers' prepaid hours. It'll show you where they're going to, which tickets they're attached to. These are all linked to things like that. So that's a super useful one as well. And then the last one here is pretty obvious. I'm sure if you know, anytime you create a new invoice and you're pulling in those prepaid hours in here, that might be another way, is just that shows kind of which line items those prepaid hours were applied to. So again, not a specific report, but just kind of a different way to see things in that way. So I think that's it for me for now.
Awesome. Thanks, Tatiana. Jason said that Tony was doing his homework in class while ignoring the instructors. No, that was awesome. That was great. And it only took you a couple seconds. Ari's asking a question. It's kind of long, so I won't read the whole thing because it's really specific to his business. But I am going to show you how you can, so he's asking, I don't want to mute all drive alerts from this endpoint in case a primary drive flags an alert. How can I disable this alert from triggering every few days? It looks like you do have a support ticket. So let me just show you in the meantime. If you head over into your alerts, and I'm sure you've seen this part first or already, but you can mute or clear alerts. If you want to mute it just for any given amount of time, you could mute it for 2 days. So these are your options: 1 hour, 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, forever. And you can do it for just this asset or for all assets. So if you don't want to continue getting that, that's what I would recommend doing for those alerts. And then we also had a question about changing your default view for tickets. So you can create a saved ticket search. And then if you just go, when you're creating these saved ticket searches, and how I found that was I just went to saved search in tickets. I created a new one, and then you can set this as your default. So anytime you come in, that's just automatically going to be the ticket view that you can see. And I hope that helps. I think. Oh, Peter, last question for me right now is, I just got here. Welcome. Can I get out of multi-factor authentication? So we do require multi-factor authentication with Syncro. You can set, how often. I think you at least have to do it every 30 days, but you will be able to choose your own settings for that. But we do require it.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandy. Next question here is from Rafi. He says, is there a way to populate assigned users with last logged in user? So at this time, I don't think there is a way to do that. You can view, if you go over to your assets and RMM section, you can see the last user here. However, one thing that is kind of a little bit related to this that I wanted to show you guys real quick is if you guys are having your customers use the agent contact form, and if someone is using it that is not the assigned user and they are submitting a ticket via the agent contact form. So right now, Crystal is the one that's assigned to this specific machine that I'm remoted into. But let's say someone else from the office was on her machine and wanted to create a ticket, it will attach that contact information to the ticket, and then that you can then pre-populate to kind of know where the request came from if you need to reassign to that new person or whatever the situation there might be. But at this time, there isn't a way to automate that.
My turn?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yes, feature request from Randy. I love it. A view menu for recent items, customers, tickets, etc. Just work on a ticket for X, customer Y, much easier clicking. Totally agree. I love that request. We'll pass it along for sure. I was going to ask this to the group from Jason. What are the flags that I need to add to the MSI installer to have it run silently, not ask the user for any interaction? I thought it ran silently. Anyway.
I thought it did too.
That's why I was going to ask the group, because I felt like I was like very certain, but then I was like, maybe I'll just double check. But the MSI installer specifically, that I believe that is the reason. I mean, it is supposed to run silently. So if it's not, I would definitely reach out to help for sure.
And I'm sure he's seen the KB, but I'll drop it in the chat box real quick.
Thanks, Brandy. I appreciate that. Nathan wants to know, hi, any plans to integrate any backup systems or your own backup agent? So Nathan, right now we integrate with MSP 360, formerly known as Cloudberry. And for the rest of it, I would just say stay tuned on that. All right, from Jeremy, what would be the best way to automatically send a marketing email to a client when they've had a device trigger a specific alert a certain number of times in a certain time period? For instance, if a device has more than 5 hard drive bad block alerts in the last week, send we can replace the hard drive before it fails marketing email. So what I know, this is when you say marketing email, I went in one direction with Mailer, trying to figure out like how to do that. And then I realized that I think the best way, especially if it's like a time frame and a rate limit, and ladies, if you guys have other suggestions, please let me know, and also tell me if I'm sharing the right screen. But I thought the best way is probably through automated remediation, because that way you can set how many times you get the alert. So I was just going to head over here, automated remediation. We might already have one built that has like a rate limit, like hard drive needs defrag here. I believe it's already kind of set that way where, yeah, rate limit like 1 time per a certain amount of days. So if it was like 5 times within 1 day, then you could send an email to your customer. So one of the actions, instead of like what I have here, you could have it email the customer. So it's not going to be like using Mailer as like a marketing type of campaign, but you absolutely can trigger an email. And I think that's an awesome way to make more money with Syncro. I actually really, really love that. So this is where you could set that rate limit and time frame to be able to trigger that email to send out to your customers.
Definitely what I would use. And he said I use the term marketing loosely, so it sounds like that would work. And you can also use the template tags available down below, just so you're not creating that email from scratch too.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. I think the only other thing that I had in the queue right now, invoices. Is there a way to trigger ticket automation based on invoice status? Specifically, I want to change status automatically when associated invoice is paid. So right now, that's not part of ticket automations. I kind of think that I'm going to pass this along because I do think that stuff like this is on the development track. So I'm definitely going to pass that along. So thank you for that. All right, cool.
I can grab one real quick here from Cody. He says, is there a help document available to walk the end users through the user-facing portal? I think that's a really unique suggestion. Excuse me, I feel like I'm losing my voice here or something like that. Apologize for that. But I wanted to share my screen real quick. I wanted to show you guys one option that you could consider. We do have, if you go over to the admin section, we do have, if you go over to the PDF and email templates, open your email templates. You could most likely provide something like this to your end users when you're editing this, to where when they get first invited to the portal email, maybe you can provide a set of instructions of exactly what you would want them to use, since you know how you have these set up based on the level of access that you're giving them to the customer portal, whether they're having the admin access where they can see everything, or if they're only having the capability to create a ticket. So again, I would utilize this section most likely. It's just kind of upon that initial email to them of how you want them to use that section there. And I'm going to go ahead and I don't know if I will get a response to these top two questions, Richard and Mike. So I'll keep an eye on those. And if I do, I will let you guys know kind of towards the end of the session today.
Awesome. Thanks, Tatiana. A couple things. So let's see here. Where can we find copies of your sample saved asset searches and automations and such? Unfortunately, we don't have any that are bootstrapped in the account. I think that the best resource for you there is the Facebook group. There's plenty of people, even who have joined us today, who are in the Facebook group, who would be willing to share. I think one of my favorite examples was recently someone had asked what people had on their system tray icon menu, and there were some really neat things. And I think some of you guys in there had commented on that post and shared as well. So people really do share. I would say reach out there and just say, hey, does anyone mind sharing some of their automated remediations or other things that they have set up on there. So I would definitely do that. And then Peter's asking how do you suggest we use multi-factor authentication for multiple employees? So each user will have their own multi-factor authentication. So we definitely recommend everyone has their own user account, and that's definitely what we would recommend.
Wonderful. Okay, I was just going to grab this. I think Richard is asking, this might be in regards to the MSI installer, I'm thinking, and he's just saying, make sure the script runs as system and not user if they're getting any sort of UAC prompt. So thank you, Richard. Appreciate that. Jeremy wants to know any news on the new security changes around the client portal. So really good question, Jeremy. I am in the meetings where we talk and discuss about how we, have been sending out some information on updates to the customer portal. I think we have been receiving some feedback, and we're looking into just making sure that that is like spot on before we make any sort of change to the customer portal. So if that's what you're referencing, just seeing maybe like that email a few weeks ago, I think another one is set to come out, but I think we're making, I think we're finalizing some stuff. So I don't have specific details right now, but we are going to do as much as we can to keep you up to date on what we're doing there. Cool.
Awesome. Some more questions here concerning the customer portal. So the first one here is, do we have to create users for the portal manually? You do not. I'll show you real quick. You have, if you go over to your admin section, and then under your customer preferences, make sure you click additional settings, you have the choice to always send portal invitations to new customers. So if you have that automated, it'll send them that link right away. And I'll drop more details on the customer portal KB into the chat box if you are curious about that. Another one related to kind of customizing those PDF and email templates that I showed you guys. Lance asks, is there a spot to customize the recurring invoice emails that go out? For example, the email that the customer receives, is there a way to add additional wording, etc.? So you do have, let me clean my tabs up very quickly here. If we go over to the PDF and email templates where I showed you guys, you can create invoice templates. You also can have multiple invoice templates. You can even have these, I believe, on a customer per customer basis. So I have one set here as default. And then if I edit this, again, you can create multiple versions of these as you'd like. And then I believe if you go over to, kind of just winging it here because I feel this is going to be here, but I might be wrong. It happens. If we go over to your recurring invoices, I believe you have the option to choose which template you want to apply there. So that's where you would make that decision there. If you have multiple versions of kind of, maybe you have 3 different pricing structures and you want this customer to have that specific template applied. Again, when you're building your recurring, or when you're building your invoice templates, you have a ton of tags to choose from. You can also include invoice messages, which is something we've just very recently built as well. So hopefully that helps point you in the right direction.
Awesome. Thanks, Tatiana. And then we have a question about, is there a plan to add more email from addresses if we use the SMTP option, not Synchros? I truly don't know if that's something that's on the roadmap or not. I'll pass it along. I'm not sure if you ladies have heard anything about it. I personally haven't, but it's valid. We've gotten some requests for multiple outbound emails in the past, so I'll definitely pass that along.
Awesome. Quick clarification here. Lance says he was actually referring to the email the customer gets. They're happy with the actual invoice itself. So yes, same section. Sorry, I missed that. If you go back to admin, PDF, and email templates, and you just select email templates instead, this is where you can customize all of those. And so if there's one that's an unpaid invoice email, you can edit that. There's also a paid invoice email, and you can edit that. I don't think you can set that on a customer per customer basis yet. I think it's just the one, but hopefully that helps.
Okay, I actually, this is really silly. I'm gonna share my screen really quick and very curious. Just realizing that I don't know if I have the answer to this, and it feels like I should, but I don't think I do. I'm gonna go to alerts here, and this main screen, these are all, this is a question from Randy. Can you show what show unmapped alerts is under the alerts? So these are the unmapped alerts. So if I show unmapped alerts, it's showing the same list. Does anyone know? Because obviously I can view the alerts that are muted. I feel like this is the unmapped alert.
I did the same thing. I was gonna grab that question and then I was like, I don't have an answer for Randy because it's the same thing.
So this is what you get with the Syncro sales team. If we don't know the answer, we're not going to blow smoke. I don't know, Randy, and these are all the unmapped alerts. I don't know if that means they're unmapped because they're not resolved, that they haven't been cleared. I don't know, because I mean, you can see these alerts. You can see that tickets have been created for some of them. From here, you can mute or clear the alert, which would take them out of the unmapped alerts. To be clear, I don't know for sure. So sorry, that doesn't help. Yeah, it's not just you, Randy. It's really not. That now it has struck me as something that I need to find out. The other question you had, Randy, can you explain how some of the conditions are used in automated remediation? Example, automation has never run, rate limit, service monitor, trigger category. What are some of the use case scenarios? Well, yes, yes and no. Like, I mean, we definitely explain this quite often that, you know, we're not in the day-to-day MSP business. I can tell you a couple of examples that we do have. So, for example, conditions is just conditions in general, depending on what you do on a day-to-day basis. So like the one that I hear often, if the condition, the disk defrag that I was showing you earlier, then you run like the defrag script. And then sometimes if you want it to actually only do a certain action if that alert has come in a certain amount of times in a certain amount of days, now I want to take this action. You know, we've added some additional things to these conditions. Like last week, we just added business hours, and the use case that was given to me for this was that a lot of times on certain policies, for example, you run maintenance overnight, and maybe you don't want alerts blowing up so that when your technicians come in the morning, they're spending an hour trying to figure out if those were real alerts or not. So you can say, hey, for this policy, if like low hard drive space or CPU, the CPU would be a good example. If like a resource usage alert went off when you were running a bunch of like different maintenance type of things overnight, you wouldn't want those alerts to happen. So you could say, if this alert comes in and business hours, and I only want to run outside of business hours, and then your action would be to literally just clear the alert. That is a use case that we just got last week. So this question, we could probably spend a lot of time here. But basically what I've always explained is that if you have alerts that come in that you know, that alert comes in, then I do this, that. If you have that throughout the day, automate what you do. And that's where this comes into play. Sweet.
Clarification, Randy, he says, is that my business hours or possibly the client's business hours? It's yours. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Good question. Next question here is from Jeremy. He says, how can we download an estimate PDF if you right click in the viewer pop-up and the browser tries to save as HTML file? I tried this and it works for me. So I went ahead and I opened an estimate and I selected the PDF and I right clicked and I said save as, and it is giving me the option. Oh, now it's not working. It worked for me just a second ago. I shouldn't have closed out. I wonder if, yeah, there you go. It is doing it as a PDF file. So I think the difference of what just happened just right there is if I click in this gray area and I click save as, it does, nope, still PDF. So it's a mystery. This is being recorded, so it's not just me. You guys saw it was a web page first, but then it's a PDF. So again, I don't know what's causing it, maybe clicking it a couple times, but it's working as PDF now. So
I have a question, and this might be silly, but mine doesn't look like that. Mine is there not a download? And it's probably because I'm on a Mac, but I didn't know it made a difference. So maybe that's just silly of me. So mine has the option to download at the top. It has an arrow.
Oh, like a regular PDF would. I am just on a regular Chrome browser.
I didn't think that made a difference, but
yeah, it might. Yeah, so it might be that, and hopefully, I don't know. It's a mystery. It should be working. It works for both of us. Jeremy, let us know if you're still experiencing that issue, or you can reach out to help@synchromsp.com.
Okay. Quick check-in. Ladies, do you guys have demos to run off to at 10? Because it is 1 minute away and we have several more questions. What do you guys want to do? Miles wants to know, when customers are setting up the customer portal via the invitation email, many customers end up at .synchromsp.com user sign in. Not. Oh, so they can log in because they are not at the customer portal login. I'm not sure how this happens, but it makes me think that a redirect in the email or with Syncro is wrong. Miles, that should not happen. They should always be directed to the portal. So please reach out to technical support and let them know that you're experiencing that. That should absolutely not happen at all. Okay. I haven't read this. Looking at alerts in my tenant, it looks like by default, it only shows alerts that map to a specific device. When I click show unmapped alerts, a few different alerts show up that do not map to Syncro devices. AKA, if everything is healthy, there should be no unmapped alerts. And for some reason, the system hides unmapped alerts and you wouldn't know they were there if you don't check. I need to get clarification on this unmapped alerts. I will do my due diligence and have better responses for that next week. Okay.
Cool. Jason, it's me. Email me. My email is, I'll put it in there too, but it's just Brandy, BRANDI at synchromsp.com. And then Miles said it matters the browser, and Manuel also gets the PDF. So just to show you, I am using a mobile, or not a mobile Chrome browser. That would be terrible if I was on mobile right now. But I do get the option to just download right here, and it is a PDF. So maybe try that. I don't know what browser you're on, but it works for me. And I don't think it's because of my computer, but I don't know. I just thought everything worked that way. Oh.
It just works. Awesome. Okay. Well, I think we've got to wrap it up. But I just wanted to say thank you all for hanging out and joining us today. If you showed up a little bit late, this was recorded. We'll post it on our YouTube channel. You can watch the prior ones as well. Otherwise, have a wonderful Friday, wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay cool. It's really hot here. Anyways, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.